Broadcasting live from atop the Rocky Mountains, the crossroads of the West. You are listening to the Liberty RoundTable Radio Talk Show.
Gotta dig it. I just got back for the Turning Point USA Conference, AmFest, America First. Incredible conference in many ways. I beg you, my fellow Americans, set aside all the news articles talking about any divisions. They existed. I'm not overlooking them or pretending they're not true. They exist. But how do we best solve them? How do we best get rid of them? How do we best go beyond them? That's really the question. Dr. Bradley, welcome, sir. Anyway, any thoughts on TPUSA? I know you probably read about it already, right?
I have not read anything about it. I watched a little bit of it, but not much. And I didn't get your broadcast before this point, and so I don't want to walk on anything that may have been said or done. I still think there's a wrestling match going on, from what I was able to observe, to see who's going to get in the head of this parade. And it could go a couple of different directions still, based upon what I saw. I mean, not a couple. It could go. It could be fragmented.
It could go
a whole
several.
Bunch of different
You're right about that, Doctor.
And I'm a little concerned that I have just seen so many good movements that have kind of folded because of competing agendas, and I worry that some of the competing agendas could really take this off on the same path that some of the ones that, you looked at 9/11, 2001, and all this patriotism that came out of it, and all this kind of good stuff that people suddenly got patriotic, and there were so many that wanted to be the drum majorette, or whatever the heck they call the person with the marches in front of the band, but and they have just basically folded. And I've seen where been around enough years where I've seen a lot of good, solidly founded organizations that end up, when their founder dies, there's a power struggle, there's a fragmentation, there's a splitting, and that's kind of the way Satan works. That's the way Marx worked. That's the way his program was, to divide and conquer, and this conflict-based kind of movement. And there may be people that put a happy face on it, and everybody's smiling, but there's fangs behind the smile, and there's maybe an iron fist behind the silk glove. I don't know. I didn't watch enough of it to completely.
All right. Well, there were several things that went on, and I understand what you're saying, and I don't disagree. This could happen very easily, and my prayers are, and my efforts are, that does not happen. Like I say, I've never seen a movement so focused on God like these people were, so focused on family like these people were, so focused on the younger generations, the future, if you will, ever. And I believe that even though there was some, divisions, Erica Kirk, the CEO of the organization now, and Charlie said that he wanted his wife to take over if their need ever arose. Now, I don't know why he would say such a thing. Maybe he had some inklings that something might happen. I'm not sure. But I'm telling you that there's a lot of people that were involved with Charlie Kirk, and Erica is one of them. And her forgiveness example at his funeral, and her speeches that I watched at TPUSA, and her interviews that I've seen since, she is focusing on the right things, in my humble opinion. I'm not putting her on a greater than just an American and a woman, pedestal. She's just still a human. But I'm really pleased with what she's done and what she's focused on. Now, there are people around Erica that I believe are good, honest people. I really do. I've heard them. I've heard them speak. I've heard them joke. I've heard them laugh. And I've heard what they say. And I've heard them take complicated questions. And they respond in very, in my opinion, appropriate ways. So understand there's the insiders that run the organization. And then there's people that they've had come in and speak. Okay? And I don't speak for them in any way. I love Turning Point. I would like to be involved more in Turning Point. I will help them all that I possibly can. But I do not speak for Turning Point or anybody else. And all I'm telling you is the people around Erica, I don't know how to say his name. Jack Posobiec, is that how you say it? He's been a longtime co-host, and I really like what Jack's had to say. In my opinion, he worked on unifying the people. Tyler Boyer, or however you say his name, again, same kind of a thing. These are recurring panel members on the thought crime program that Charlie was involved in. Blake Neff, part of the core. Andy Calvert or Andrew. A lot of people around that have done a tremendous job. And I'm really pleased. So I understand what Dr. Scott Bradley's saying. He's very, very right. This could indeed be a serious problem in the beginning of the fractures. My prayers are not. But what's different about this, doctor, that I at least think so far, what was different about the American Revolution versus the French Revolution and others? The answer is it was a focus on God. It was a realization that without God, we'll get nowhere. And with God, we can do all things. This conference had that element to it. And so my prayer, the core can go on, and those who really want to divide, or those who have an agenda, or those who might have other things in mind, hopefully they will, either one, have a turning point in their lives and change and repent, or two, they can go their own way. And anyway, so I noticed that there was a real element on God and on serving others and on family. I've been to a lot of conferences in my day, doctor, and I've never seen so many people together in one room that believed in God first. That, I'm hoping, makes the difference, doctor.
Well, I absolutely have those wishes also. But just temper it with our own discerning spirit on things. Let's look and say, the people in Nazi Germany were praying to the same God the people in America were praying to. I mean, they had a lot of Lutherans there that thought God was on their side, and so I guess the Brits with their Anglican religion in the Revolutionary War prayed to God. Yeah, I admit that the Revolutionary War had a really different temper than the French Revolution, but if people try to co-opt God into their camp, if you will, they can also be of great force for the wrong things. And if in fact this is
your
turning
point is people have used religion for wrongful purposes too. In the name of religion, many things have been done that have been wrong. I concur 100%. However, if we're going to be saved, it's only going to be by God. It's not going to be by Washington. It's not going to be by my opinion or yours or anybody else's. It's going to be based on the principles that God has set forth.
No question about that. And I guess, when it comes to this nation, we do have a pretty good template. Pretty good. I understate a lot of things, right?
An incredible template.
And so here we have the foundational principles, and this idea that extra constitutional things are okay if you do it in the name of God is not right. And we will overthrow this nation as fast that way if you're doing it for a God that's different than the Sharia God. But the fact is, we cannot use false principles to take and I look, for example, one of the big challenges I think we're going to find is the effort to shoehorn TPUSA into a organization that sometimes puts Israel in front of the United States. I mean, I'm going to just outright say it. And I think that was a division point that still needs to be fully addressed, because if in fact another nation is placed and we become subservient to that nation, to go back and read the farewell address, for crying out loud, people, we become slaves to the other nation. And I hope and pray that there's not such a Schofield.
You're talking about George Washington's farewell address, right?
George Washington's farewell address, and Andy Jackson's, for that matter. I mean, these guys, sure, they were pretty wise guys, smart, I don't know, wise guys. That's maybe a good term. I don't know. But at any rate, the fact of the matter is that that if we get to the point that we are doing extra constitutional wars, and it's okay because we support our troops. I mean, I'm just taking a few little fragments
you're right.
out there.
And the point that you're making is this: hey, we're not downing Israel in that statement. We're just merely saying that America first means that we make sure we're on a solid footing, based on principle, to set an example for the whole world. We need to be a light on a hill. And that doesn't start with putting other countries first. That doesn't start with, debating about this or that or the constitutionality of. We need to follow godly principles, and we need to follow the principles of the Constitution. That's why I say the Constitution should be the political religion of our nation. We've got to stick with those things: God, family, and country. When it comes to God, it's a relationship with Him, and it's the Bible. When it comes to family, it's God-ordained family principles. When it comes to the country, it's the Constitution, the separation of powers, not seeking for power, seeking to pull it down. And I pray that TPUSA can stand on those principles. You're right. We've got a big question in front of us. Will they? And I can only pray so and advocate for such.
Sam, as I just while you were, we got to take another break, man. Oh, it's the end of the hour. Can you imagine? Maybe we can start off with Thomas Jefferson in this godly heritage kind of thing.
Roger that. We'll do it.
Wisdom.
Great idea. Dr. Bradley's with me, ladies and gentlemen. freedomsrisingsun.com is his website. He wrote a book called To Preserve the Nation. It's not only a book, it's a collegiate DVD and book series where you can hear lectures on some of these principles. I believe we need to stick with godly principles, and if we do, there's no stopping. Anybody who embraces true godly principles, that's something we need to advocate for and pray for with all of our might. I'm Sam Bushman. You're watching Liberty Roundtable Live. We are syndicated by the Loving Liberty Networks. Spread the word, lovingliberty.net. God save the Republic of the United States of America.